AFWERX, a United States Air Force program with a stated goal of fostering a culture of innovation within the service. On January 11, 2018, the opening of an AFWERX hub brought the Secretary of the Air Force and the Vice President to Las Vegas. The Vice President said, "My message simply is this. If you've got a good idea and want to pitch it to the Air Force, AFWERX Vegas is going to give you access. We're going to give access to the platforms and the people that you need to make a difference." My name is Glenn Spencer, and I'm living proof that the Vice President was telling the truth. On April 6, 2018, I was given the opportunity to pitch my idea to AFWERX in Las Vegas. The following is that pitch, with edits to make it easier to see what the AFWERX audience saw on the large computer screen.
I'm Glenn Spencer. I'm representing American Border Technology and a system called SEIDARM. Years ago, I bought a ranch right on the Mexican border, a little over 100 acres. And I found out that we have a problem with the Mexican border. Years ago, as a systems engineer, I studied this kind of problem. Then after that, I started up a seismic oil exploration company in Montana. And I put two and two together, and I said, gee, what if we could use seismic technology on the border? Well, we found out. One of the reasons I found out is that, according to this study, that is somewhat dated but still very accurate, that these geophones, the seismic sensors that the government uses right now, are almost useless. As they said in this one thing, according to our analysis of the 38% of ICAD tickets for which the cause were determined, 90% were caused by something other than an illegal alien activity. They had 29,710 alarms were sent out by their sensors. It ended up with 252 apprehensions. So I began looking at this problem, thinking about how we might apply seismic technology to the problem. Now, the little geophones that the Border Patrol uses are based on this little thing right here. It is a geophone. Okay? Now, if you hold it in your fingers right here and try to make the light stop, you can't because it's sensing your pulse. Okay? Now, I knew there was a problem with that. We began to experiment with seismic technology. I had installed it on my ranch. And after some years, because we installed this more than 7 years ago, we've been working on it ever since. In 2015, I got a patent on it. In 2017, we updated the patent. And let me show you what it does. I have you're going to see a guy. This is my ranch. This is our test range. Right there is the number 600 feet from the sensor line. As he starts walking toward the sensor, toward the line, we start picking him up. Where? About 500 feet from the sensor line. Border Patrol sensors, which don't work, have a range of about 30 to 40 feet. Now you'll watch as he gets closer to the line, more sensors pick him up. And we know, we watch him. This is called the end zone. As he crosses into the end zone, it actually becomes a square. We know exactly where it is. As he goes through the end zone, it becomes a rectangle. So we know he's north of the line. So the system can do that. We've also found that it detects ultralight aircraft. Here. Watch this, look at the sensor line. See it light up? It says air. It picks up that airplane. I happen to be flying it myself because I like to fly. So it picks up low-flying aircraft. We're actually now talking about using it possibly to detect little drones, like that little drone right there. Now, one of the things I've learned that they have a problem with the Border Patrol is, by the way, this is inside my shop. It's a camera looking at all these monitors at the same time. What we do is, you'll see at the top, I have two, actually there are going to be two drones sitting there. See them sitting there? Mm-hmm. Now what happens is, If you look over on the bottom, there is a light on the right side. Ignore the one in the middle because the guys put the sensor right next to the horse corrals. We had to take that one out. It's right next to the corral. But now look at the right. Look right there on the right. What happens is SEIDARM picks up, it says people read. And actually, if you could hear it, I think what has happened is when we switched it over, we lost the audio. But it'll say people read. And if that, the drone, Hilda, launches automatically and heads out for the location of where the sensor says you will find that person. And then you look at on the left, people read. You've got somebody walking more than a half mile away in the opposite direction. And now you'll see the little thing, George, watch him take off. All of this is automatic. George then flies out to the location, and you'll see, by the way, Hilda's already spotted the suspect that caused this thing to be set off. You don't have to be at this high altitude. We could be right on the deck. So there we are. Now George is going out to find his suspect, right? Here's the guy on the left, there's the guy on the right. And the idea is, the whole problem on the border that I have understood after 15 years of studying is knowing where to point your cameras. You have a soda straw effect. If you zoom in with one of these powerful $80,000 thermal cameras to where you can spot somebody 5 miles away, don't try to move it, because you'll lose them. Don't try to find somebody out there, because you're looking at the earth through a soda straw. Half of the battle on the border is knowing where to point your cameras. Now, the idea of using a drone like this is it can get out right there on top. Now, this could be down at 2 feet. A Border Patrol agent could be down at his office and touch on that person right there. The drone, then he could fly it, or it'll zoom in. The things that we've learned about this, you have learning capability. And that is, if you have a drone that flies out and you have a false alarm and it's a cow, not a person, and that doesn't happen very often, you learn. It feeds back. It corrects the system. And if we had this installed on the entire border, over time, with mapping and intelligence, the Border Patrol would know every inch of that border. What are its characteristics? What causes a false alarm? Where do the people hide? You would know this. Now, this is all buried. It's all buried, solar powered. It comes in 5-mile segments. 1 radio transmission per 5 miles. 1 radio transmission. The idea is to have for each 5 miles a prefabricated silo with a drone at the bottom with a battery carousel. The drone is sitting at the bottom, the alarm goes off, it pops open, he's over there, sending back video. And by the way, this is all automatic. They're going to come back and land automatically. And this is George. This is the bird right there that's on the right side. That's George. And then you can get back and replace your batteries in 5 minutes. Plus, the scientific thing is, what I've learned is we have tremendous resources on the border. If we had a drone there watching them for 20 minutes, by that time, I can have the Predator there, I can have helicopters there, I can have all kinds of resources there. 90% of the battle is knowing where to look and identifying the source and the problem. Now, once again, SEIDARM comes in 5-mile segments, like this. With these little, here is the, this is the actual sensor. There are 12 actual sensors in there with a special circuit. Detection range, as you saw, over 400 feet for one person walking. Border Patrol sensors, 30 to 40 feet. False alarm rate, we believe we can essentially, when we learn as we go along the border and the thing adapts, it'll go to 0. You will never have a false alarm on the border. Well, here's George coming in for a landing there, automatically. All of this technology exists today. Well, how about cost? We estimate, and we've told the government, we could install SEIDARM on the entire border, not the drones, but SEIDARM on the entire border for $150,000 a mile. Now, what about reliability? Our calculations are, that we've submitted to the government, you will need unscheduled maintenance on each 5-mile segment every 2.4 years. You'll have to go out and repair something. Because this is 95% of the hardware here is from the oil exploration business. This is stuff that's been on the field for years, hardened. So $150,000 a mile, it's installed. Now, a lot of problems with systems out there is that animals chew up the cables. We ran into this problem ourselves. We buried all of the cable. Everything is buried in pipe. PVC, we use 2-inch PVC, all backfilled. If you want, you can put it in stainless steel pipe. Backfill it with concrete. Nobody's going to touch it. And you have to go out every 2.4 years and repair it. We believe this technology can also be used to secure an airbase or anything else. Now, again, the important aspect of this, we have a tremendous algorithm. Let me tell you something. Tremendous algorithm, if I can pull this up real fast, that we have worked very hard on. 2 minutes.
Just 1 second.
Okay. Well, that's just a closer look.
So what algorithms do you have?
Well, we developed it. We have Dr. Voss. This is something from the patent application. I'll make a little pass over the field. These are the algorithms.
And you've tested these over how long?
What's that?
How long have you been testing the algorithm? Just to...
Oh, well, about 5 years. This algorithm here.
Is it constantly just getting better and better every time you...
Beg your pardon?
Is it constantly getting better? Stronger, the algorithm?
Well, right now it's stabilized. It can constantly get better. We've reached a point, and by the way, I am the source of money for this thing. There's no government money. Now, I put up my retirement money. My children were happy about that. So,
yes, they may be in the future.
we developed it all on our own. I hired Dr. Voss, a specialist in digital signal processing, and we've been working on it for 7 years. And it's beautiful. It is gorgeous. As a matter of fact, I have it live over here. You saw that demonstration with the drones flying? I could do that live from right here if we had time and I set it up. I could show you right from here the video of the sensors, the drones launching, and you could then ask somebody down there, well, will you do this? All right? Then we would do that. Can you send somebody over here? Okay? Can you tiptoe? Right? Show us all how this thing works.
So what would you say is the main... So if I was to explain your solution to someone...
I beg your pardon?
If I was to explain your solution to someone, but I was to say, hey, he's got these sensors, he's got these drones, he's got this, he's got that, which of the entire package would you say you're most proud of?
Oh, it's SEIDARM. SEIDARM solves the problem. Because the problem down at the border right now is that they don't know where to look. I'm going to tell you, there's $500 million with a radar-guided cameras down here on the border right now called integrated fixed towers. You've never heard of them. They don't work.
Does the sensor itself predict what it thinks may have triggered it?
Sure. The algorithm is looking at 5 miles of data simultaneously. It looks at the 3 sensors. It looks at the frequencies. It looks at the energy. Okay. It looks at the pattern. See, the thing is with a geophone like the Border has, somebody walks by in 30, 40 feet sensors, they can look at the data for a few seconds. We can look at the data for 2 minutes if we want. Now, the idea is, the theory is, we pick up people at 500 feet. If you look
Does
at
it know it's a person versus know it's a
Of course,
coyote
we
versus
know.
know it's a rabbit versus...
We've run tests, we've done demonstrations, we have
Yeah.
cameras out there.
Yeah.
Here are cows walking around and it
Yeah.
does nothing. It says nothing. And the idea is, if you pick up somebody walking at 500 feet, it takes them about 2 minutes to reach the border. By that time, I've got a drone sitting there waiting for them. Okay, theoretically. The only reason we really throw the drone in is to show what SEIDARM can do. We don't sell the drones, we don't, but there are other technologies. If there's somebody in the room here has some technologies that they think might work well with SEIDARM to detect low-flying drones, like that.
Yeah.
We believe it'll work. We believe SEIDARM can detect low-flying drones, ultralight. I mean, I've flown, I little over 7,000 hours in the air, and multi-engine, and all that stuff. And I fly these tests. And I talk to radar over at Riverside before I take off. Okay, I'm going up, okay, and I talk to the radar operator, and I get back, never saw you. Never saw you.
Quick question. So essentially, you're using partners to handle the drones and the deployment and all that.
Right.
Is there actual automation of the drone deployment and flight systems and all of that?
Well, right now, this is just off-the-shelf stuff.
Or is it someone?
And right now, what we do
doing
is
it
for a
manually?
given sensor, we hit a button, and it has waypoints built into it.
Okay, got it.
So it takes off, flies to the waypoint that's appropriate for that sensor, does the circling, everything you saw from takeoff to landing was automatic.
Got it. So does
That's
it?
how simple it
Is it actually feeding live video feeds also?
Of course.
Okay, like over cellular.
Yeah, or cellular or whatever. You can build a backbone cellular system all along the border, it would be very cheap. So what you have is the SEIDARM would say, people read, the Border Patrol guy's looking up at the camera, the thing, well, he doesn't do anything until it gets overhead and it's circling, and he looks down and says, that's interesting, I'll take this, okay? And as you saw at the end of that, you can get down and do facial recognition if you want. We have a long-serving joke, we have somebody crossing the border, and the drone comes down and it says, Juan, what are you doing here? We just called your wife Maria. She says, come home and bring some tacos. Right? That's pretty humane. It's kind of, cute. But it is the sort of thing that can be done on the border today, but the perimeter capabilities are still there. Any other questions?
We're out of time. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.